Well, hello there. Welcome back, or welcome to the Patience to Prosperity podcast, and welcome to 2026. How are we feeling? I know it's weird to ask an open-ended question in a podcast episode, but we're having a conversation here. It's me and you, we're sitting down, we're getting comfy, and we're just chatting today, okay? We're gonna reflect a little bit on the last year because holy fuck, what was that? And we're gonna talk a little bit about the new year, what we wanna be feeling like, what we wanna be doing. I've been doing this podcast for 2 years now, and it's about to be 3 this spring, which is insane to me. And that to me brings up a little bit of fear and a little bit of, well, shit, I've been doing something for 3 years and I feel like I'm still kind of trying to get myself off the ground, right? And honestly, I feel like a lot of people can resonate with that feeling in different aspects of their life, whether it be a creative passion or just a habit that you want to stick that hasn't stuck for the past few years. It takes a certain level of looking at it for what it is, looking at yourself and your lifestyle and seeing how it actually fits into your lifestyle. Because I think sometimes we try to just completely uproot our entire lives, especially in the energy of the new year. We try to just uproot everything all at once and start fresh. And I think it's so amazing and beautiful that we have so many goals set out for ourselves and that we do want to take those steps to further our expansion and growth as individuals. But, can we just take it one step at a time? Can we just breathe? How about we normalize going as slow as possible? How about we normalize going against the fucking grain? And that's going to be a lot of what I'm talking about today, is just kind of revolting against what you're told to do. Because to be honest, most of the things that people tell you to do are the opposite of what our bodies and our minds actually need in order to keep up a habit sustainably. So, yeah, we're here. We're here on a new mic that fits so perfectly in my hand, and we got new energy coming in, and that's really exciting. But it also does bring up the fear and the pressure of what's to come, which is completely normal. If you're sitting here listening right now or watching and it feels like the pressure is outweighing the excitement for this new year, then you're going to want to listen ahead, because hopefully what I can provide for you in this podcast is a safe space for all of your fears to be fully unleashed. I want you to come here and feel like you can allow that fear to come to surface, because we're going to work through it together. And you guys know that my DMs are always open and all that jazz. So always check the show notes to get in touch with me through socials. But just in this time and space that we have together that I'm creating for you right now, why don't we take a second to just silence that part of our brains that's telling us we have to think about everything all at once? Not only just do everything all at once, but I think what becomes so paralyzing is when we're so stuck in our thoughts. We're stuck in our mind that is telling us to do everything all at once and to change all of these parts of us. So I know I'm not really saying anything new right now, but also there's your reminder that that's not the point. If you're someone that's pursuing something creatively or looking to pursue something creatively, I fully believe that all of us do have some sort of inclination that's pushing us to pursue a creative aspect of ourselves, whether it be creating music, whether it be becoming a writer, becoming a journalist, becoming a fashion designer, whatever it might be. I think all of us have that little light inside of us, no matter how small it feels right now. But the world sort of teaches us to ignore it, because we kind of get forced into the capitalist society we live in, where we have to constantly be doing, and going. And it's why though? Because the things that we're working towards, that society is telling us we have to be working towards, we end up hating. And I'm currently still in school. I still have a year and some change left of college, which I'm not going to go down right now because that will make me spiral a little bit. But it's like I'm at this point where I'm understanding why people don't really know what the fuck they want to do when they're in school working towards ultimately what you're going to be doing for the next 40 years of your life. I'm studying psychology right now, and no matter how much I have a passion to become a therapist or to really like dive head first into the field of psychology, I have this crippling fear that I'm going to end up hating it because our gifts that we have that kind of promote our passions for the certain fields and certain career paths that we want to go down. In a capitalist society, our gifts are not able to outshine and outweigh our work ethic, right? And so you become a fucking robot and you just start to conform to the 9 to 5 life. And I'm already burnt out from that. And I'm not even fully in it yet. You know, I'm still just like a full-time student that is a part-time worker. But, you know, one of the biggest things that pulled me to talk on this mic today was this idea that the world rewards audacity, not potential. So you have to be audacious enough to go against the system. And that's so fucking scary because, by the way, when you're going against the system, you feel like you're failing completely because you're taking the route that literally no one else is taking. And if anyone else is taking it that you know of, they're already winning. You know, like the people who are already profiting off of their art and are able to go against the capitalist society that's telling them to work a 9 to 5, those people already found success pursuing their creative careers. So when you're just trying to pick yourself up off the ground, metaphorically from a creative standpoint, you feel like you're doing everything wrong. You feel like there's always another way you could be doing it. And by the way, there is. And there is with anything. So, like, what's the point of constantly feeling wrong and constantly feeling like you're failing by trying? Like that, if we're talking ins and outs of the new year, that is an out. We're done feeling like we're always taking the wrong step. Any step towards the thing that you are working towards is the right step. No matter if it feels like 10 steps backwards, you know? And sometimes it's going to feel that way. But what you forget to realize is that it's more about the direction that you're going in. It's not about the speed in which you're operating from. And that was a big fucking lesson for me this year, let me tell you, because in so many ways, this year taught me how to listen to myself and listen to my body and my own needs and my energy levels and all those things. But it also told me that you can't fully rely on how you feel sometimes. You know, like I think that's been something that is very kind of underexplored in today's day and age. And it's especially prevalent with the media that we consume. Because I think we've come so far as a society where we recognize mental health and we recognize, you know, all the ways in which our mental health is being affected on a daily basis, on a daily fucking basis, you know? But also, it's like not fair sometimes to not show up for others because you don't have the energy. Like, since when was that normalized? All of a sudden, it's like people are like, I have to have a boundary. I actually can't hold space for you because I'm just not feeling it today. Like, if you want a fucking village, you have to be a villager. And I'm sick of this abuse of mental health that we are conforming to in today's society. Like, of course, mental health is a priority, and of course, you should always be putting yourself first. But there is a way of putting yourself first and also holding space for others. Sometimes that just means listening. Like sometimes your friends are not asking for advice. Sometimes they're not asking for you to show up as your best self. Sometimes they're just asking to be a shoulder for them to cry on. Like, why is no one a villager anymore? I'm not with that. I'm not with that. So one of my ins, I'm gonna honestly throughout this episode, I feel like I'm gonna tie in some ins and outs of the new year because I think that's fun. Okay, if you don't think that's fun, then fuck off. But like, I think ins and outs are fun because it's not only is it what I think isn't in and out for my personal life this year, but I'm also taking into account what the collective feels. Because as a creator myself, every time I'm absorbing other people's opinions and I'm absorbing other people's art, I'm always looking at it from a collectivist view where art in itself is adding to the ongoing conversation that is always happening around us. So that's why art evolves. That's why certain things become trendy in creative processes. That's why some years podcasts are all the rage and other years YouTube videos are all the rage. You know what I mean? Like creative outlets ebb and flow with people's attention spans and with the sort of media that people want to consume, and it has to do with the lack that they're experiencing in their life. And that's why, honestly, I think this year, 2026, is going to be so incredibly big for art. I think that this is going to be a huge year for people who want to fully embody authenticity when it comes to art instead of just like putting themselves into boxes and trying to just label themselves as whatever artist they are. I think this year is the year that people see through the fucking veil that has been created over everything. Like posting on social media, for example. I feel like when we post on social media now, it's so fucking fake. It's so put on and it's so obvious how much effort you're putting into it. So it makes it feel less authentic. And it still can come across as like you're putting so much fucking effort into it, no matter how little effort you're actually putting into it, you know? And I think the idea of like raw, authentic art that looks kind of effortless is what's truly timeless and what's truly, from the grand scheme of things, it's what's truly authentic, you know? Because it's the most dimmed down, sort of stripped version of creating. And I think that people are craving that more than ever because of how fucking overstimulated everyone is. Like, we're being fed a million things at once. Our attention spans have never been worse. Like, it's so bad. But I also do think that we're in this grace period right now where, like, if we pick shit up right now and we decide to pivot, we're not doomed forever, right? Like, I want there to be a sense of hope that we are not fucking doomed forever. And I want you listening to realize that no matter what the state of the world is right now, we're going to be okay, but no one's going to come and save you. You have to save yourself. So you can't wait for, this is a stupid example, but like you can't wait for Instagram to become casual again in order to feel comfortable posting casual shit. You have to post the casual things if you want it to be casual again. You can't wait for permission to do the thing that is like literally irking your soul right now, that is constantly nagging at you. You have to give yourself permission to do that now, no matter how little, and especially how little people are doing it themselves. Like, be the first one to do it then. That's fucking cool. Even if you don't think that anyone's going to think it's cool because no one else is doing it, that's fucking cool that you're doing that and that you're taking that step, you know? But that's also another thing with art. I feel like we also get stuck as the creator being in this mindset of, well, everything's already been done. And I heard that a million times when I first started my podcast because people would tell me, oh, but everyone has a podcast now. How is yours going to be any fucking different? My answer every single time, because I'm fucking different. Because I don't have a podcast. Because no one is me. Like, and it's not in an egotistical way. It's in a way of genuine fact. Like, no one is you. Your gift is that no one is you. So exercise your fucking gift, you know? I don't know. I think we just overcomplicate things too much. And I'm kind of just like over it. To be completely honest, I'm just over it. So, but I understand the pushback that comes with putting yourself out there and doing the hard thing, taking the road less traveled, all those things. Like, trust me, I understand that. But what's come clear to me this past year is this crippling feeling that my inspiration is always one step ahead of my ability. And to be honest, when you ruminate in that feeling too much, it will completely deter you from the path that you're going down creatively. And if you haven't started yet, it's enough to block you completely from taking your first stride, put yourself out there. Because if you always feel like you're incapable, but you have so many creative ideas in your brain, I'm going to tell you one thing. Those thoughts, those creative ideas that you have will never go away. They will never go away because you are gifted. And those thoughts that you have, they're little tiny gifts that give you a glimpse into the bigger picture of who you are. And that right there is where all your potential lies, is in the creative inspiration that you take from things outside of the world. Like, I honestly think that one of the biggest takeaways I have learned about myself this past year is how much beauty there is in my own perspective of the world. This year I feel like I've really mastered taking pictures and capturing the beauty exactly as I saw it when I'm taking that picture. I think that's kind of been the nail on the head for me this year. And, you don't let yourself get to that point unless you let yourself fully exercise who you are. And in order to fully exercise who you are, you have to let your ideas live outside of your head, and obviously it's easier said than done, obviously. But like, also, the only way to know how to do it and the only way to actually get your ideas outside of your head and to prove to yourself that you are capable is by trying, and allowing yourself to be seen trying. I think that's also a huge thing I had to uncover this year, was just allowing myself to be seen while becoming, because I think I have this huge fear of like permanency. And if you listen to my last episode, I talked about this a little bit there, but I kind of mentioned how I have this fear that I'm being perceived solely on the work that I have created so far, when in my head, I have such a greater vision for myself and for my podcast that like I don't even want to be perceived by the episodes that or the content that I've created so far, because it doesn't fully encapsulate like what I'm capable of and what my potential is. But I can't fully show people my potential if I'm not creating, and if I'm allowing that fear of being perceived based on solely what I have out right now, if I'm letting that stop me from creating or hinder me from creating completely, then all I'm doing is conforming to that fear. I'm not even giving myself a chance at being everything that I know myself to be. I'm not even giving myself a fucking chance. You just have to give yourself a fucking shot, you know? Like, the worst thing that you can do is stop creating altogether. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do. Even if you're creating, but like not putting your art fully out into the world, you have to allow your ideas to live outside of your head. You have to. There's no other way. Like, truly, there is no other option. So, I just want to dive a little bit deeper into this fear of permanency, because I think it has a lot to do with happiness as well and feeling fulfilled by life, because, it's so easy to let sadness creep in and then just completely ruminate in that sadness and completely just let it overcome you. But for some reason, happiness feels so fleeting. And for some reason, every single time that we feel on top of the world, we know that that feeling's going to pass, and then that sadness is going to creep in again. So it's almost like we don't let ourselves feel our fullest potential of happiness, because we know that it's not going to stay and it's not going to last. And I know that sounds really surface level, but I just started thinking about certain things in our lifespan that we kind of let the fear of permanency take over in. So, like, for example, every time we're rejected by a job or, a potential lover or something, that feels like the end of the world to us. That feels like we will never be accepted by anything ever. It feels like the end of the fucking world. Every single time that we go through a breakup, we feel like single life is fucking permanent. Like, we're never going to find someone and have it actually last, you know? And then taking that a step further with how it applies to the creative process, I feel like we have this fear every single time we reach writer's block where we just are not able to vocalize or fully encapsulate our inspiration in a physical matter. And every single time I reach writer's block with my creative outlets, it feels like it's permanent, and I immediately go down the exact same rabbit hole and spiral where I end up questioning if it's meant for me. I end up questioning if I'm good enough. I end up questioning if I have what it takes to actually see my potential through with it, or if that was the best I could possibly do, and I have to just accept that it's not the path I'm meant to go down, and it's not something that I'm meant to do long term, And I think that's something that all of us can resonate with, whether or not you even are pursuing something creatively yet. And I feel like the reason why happiness can be so fleeting sometimes is because when we feel that euphoric feeling of being on top of the mountain, I feel like not only are we grieving the fact that we know that this feeling's not going to last forever, but we're also grieving the actual experience that is bringing us this sense of happiness. We're grieving the fact that that experience will never be duplicated the exact same way. And we'll never experience that sort of catalyst for happiness in the exact same way that we did. So we grieve things while they're actually happening. But I think where we go wrong is that we are putting all of our eggs in one basket, and that basket being the experience itself, being the thing that's creating this serotonin in our brains that's making us feel this euphoric way. And that's not necessarily wrong. Like, we're human beings. That is kind of how our brain works. But that in itself, the fact that we are human beings and that our brains are fucking biological matter, means that we can recreate that same adrenaline feeling from doing different things. We can create that exact feeling from doing something that scares us, from doing something that we've never done before, from doing something that we have done before, but taking a different route. I think that this year for me is all about taking the road less traveled, as cringy as it sounds, taking the fucking scenic drive, like, not just going on the freeway because it's the fastest way to get there. Like, I'm sick of that. I want to take my time and understand every little minute little detail in the process, because there's no better feeling than actually seeing yourself change while you're changing. And I think that's something that's always been so hard for me to fully bring my awareness to. Even when I'm reflecting on a year's worth of growth, like I am right now in this season of the new year, it's still so hard for me to even put myself back in the mindset of who I was a year ago, because I was so in it that I don't even fucking know how I've changed, because I just am. Like, I just am, you know? And I honestly think that's okay. I honestly think that that is not the worst thing in the world. I think it's okay to not always understand every single micro level that you've changed. Like, that's not really the point of life. The point is just to evolve and to keep evolving. Yes, it's good to reflect. Yes, it's good to understand in what ways you're growing, but I think that the growth reveals itself to you every single time that you decide differently than you would have decided before, you know? Every single time you make a decision that feels more aligned to who you are and who you're becoming, rather than just going on autopilot and deciding what feels the most comfortable to you, you know? Okay, I want to just kind of close this out talking about some ins and outs because I feel like this will resonate with a higher collective. And if it doesn't, some of these might be niche, but like they're still fun to talk about because I think they are still relevant to like the ways in which we're all experiencing these ebbs and flows of just our reality, our overall reality shifting day to day. Number one, in terms of movement, I think what's in this year is being outside as much as possible when we're moving. So, if you live in a climate where you experience all four seasons in the summer and those nice fall days and those nice spring days, like we outside this year, we outside because we fully know at this point in our life how much the fucking sun dictates our happiness. Like genuinely, the serotonin and the dopamine is to the fucking floor in the winter. We all experience a level of seasonal depression in some fucking way because we're not getting vitamin D like we should be, you know? And that's just real. That's just how it is and it sucks. So yeah, I think what's in with movement is like hiking and walking a lot. What's out, which is what I'm really trying to get out here. What's out is this stupid fucking male-centered way of working out where we're telling everyone that in order to see progress in our overall health, we need to be exercising like bodybuilders. Like I don't think we understand. Like let me take like for a second, let me just process this with you guys. I don't think we understand the level in which the media is pushing this disciplinary workout schedule where you have to be working out pretty much 5 times a week at least, and you're working out to failure. Which, I mean, when I'm saying this, I'm basically talking about like weight training, but with weight training and like lifting weights, I feel like there's just such toxic conversation around it because the people that like obviously have the six-pack abs and like have your dream fucking physique or all these things and like have it figured out, whatever, are working out like bodybuilders. And they're like fitness coaches and shit. Like, obviously, like, they are gonna work out a little bit differently. But the problem is that these fitness coaches are fucking pushing this toxic way of working out as if it's the only fucking way you can work out. You don't have to be pushing yourself to failure every single fucking day. You don't have to be lifting 1,000 pounds in order to see progress. You can just fucking go to the gym and move your body and let that be enough. Like that is the goal, should just be moving your body because that's what makes you fucking healthy is exercising. It's not exercising till failure, you know? And like obviously everyone's goals are different. So if your goal is to put on a shit ton of muscle and stuff, then listen to the fitness people online that are telling you to do all those things, whatever. But for my people that are just trying to fucking make it a goal to move and exercise, you don't have to kill yourself in the process. Like it's okay to just like work out for 30 minutes a day. It's okay to just do 3 sets of something, go on the treadmill for 10 minutes and call it a day. Like you don't have to do the absolute most, you know? Because then you set this unrealistic expectation of like I have to hit my workouts as hard as I can every single time. And you're a human being. Of course, you're going to feel different every single day, especially if you're a woman. Like, you feel different on a daily basis, you know? So it's like we can't expect ourselves to show up the exact same every single day, but we can expect ourselves to do one thing, you know, just move our bodies in one way that feels good to us. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on working out because I'm just a little fed up with the way that we've been pushed this one way of working out. And it's been honestly for the past like 5 years at least, like that's what's been thrown in our faces in order to make any progress with working out. But like you can just move your body. You can just move your body and let that be enough, you know? Like stop making the physique the end all be all. Like, we're done with that. We're done with that. We're not focusing on what our body looks like. We're focusing on how we feel. Okay? Okay, another thing. Like every other bitch, I always fucking say, like, oh my God, I need to watch that movie. I need to read that book. And then I have this overwhelming feeling that there's a million different books I need to read, a million different movies I need to watch. Like, I get so overwhelmed by all of the things that I have yet to explore. And I don't know if that's like stupid, but I also feel like it's kind of real. Like, I think that's kind of a collectivist feeling. And it's so stupid, but also the only way to kind of silence that is to actively be consuming that kind of art. And what stops us from doing that is literally social media. If I'm going to be so fucking blunt with you right now, it's not like those little limiting beliefs in the back of your head. Like, yes, that has to do with it, whatever. No, it's the fact that we have fucking social media on our phones. And it's the fact that it's so much fucking easier to get a dopamine boost and a quick fix from scrolling on your phone than it is from spending a few minutes to find a movie, which, by the way, you already have a notes app for in your phone. Like, just watch the fucking movie, because you're gonna end up scrolling on your phone for 2 hours anyways. Like, babe, look at that screen time. You could have watched like 5 movies today, genuinely. So my out is scrolling, my in is consuming art in forms of reading, watching movies, and even YouTube videos. Like, I think that we're in a very transformative period right now with YouTube. And like, obviously it's catered to you, like everything is, because the algorithm is fucking insane. But there's so many creators on YouTube right now that are just taking this approach that I talked about in the beginning, where like what they're creating is so raw and authentic, and it's not over the top editing anymore. We don't care about like overstimulation to the fucking max. We care about rawness and just like stripping everything down and letting it be exactly as it is, as we found it, which I'm really trying to encapsulate also in this podcast in this year, is just like really letting it be raw. Like, I'm sitting in an unmade bed right now with a million different blankets that don't go together, a million different patterns that make no fucking sense together, and like, I'm just letting it be what it is, because I'm in my parents' house right now, and this is how the teenage version of me decorated my room, and it's little pieces of me that I've collected over the years, and like, that's what's truly cool, and that's what's truly like beautiful. That's what people look at and are like, that makes no fucking sense together, and that's why it's cool. Which is another in for me this year, is specifically with my style, letting my style be as weird as fucking possible. Like, genuinely putting things together that make absolutely no sense together, but that being sort of the core essence of the outfit, is the fact that I would never think to put the color orange and green together. But I let that be the essence of the fucking outfit, and then I build my accessories off of that, and it ties it in. It ties it in. And like, honestly, my style has never been meant to be, it's always meant to like not make sense to some extent, to be honest. Like, I've never been able to categorize my style ever, because one, it's always changing, but two, it's like uncategorizable. And that's not me saying I'm so different. Like, no, like, I think I still have a long way to go with fashion, to be honest. Like, it's not my forte, to be honest. Like, I love it and I think it's so cool, but I also get so overwhelmed by it that I just end up wearing the same thing, or the same version of that thing, because I get so overwhelmed by my options. And that's my next thing that is my out for this year, is overconsumption. I'm done going to the thrift store and spending $200 on a million different clothes that I see a vision in, but will never let that vision come to life. I'm done with that. Here's the thing. You can come across this nice, lacy black top at the thrift store, right? And you can see this whole vision with it, where your hair is in this updo and you got these fun clips in your hair and this necklace and whatever. But if you don't have any pants or bottoms to go with that top, do not buy that fucking top because it will just collect dust. Like, it's not going to ever see the light of day if you don't already have something in your closet that's gonna go with it. So overconsumption is out. Overconsumption is so out. I spent this entire year just purging my closet, like getting rid of things that I told myself for the past 3 years that I would wear, that I've continuously brought from my parents' house to my house at school, and just like never put on once, genuinely, which is always fun for my friends because then I just let my friends go through my clothes and it's kind of fun for everyone. So I honestly, if you don't do that already, I really encourage you to go through your closet. The things that you haven't worn in the past year, just fucking get rid of it. Just fucking get rid of it. Like, genuinely, sayonara. You don't think about it. It's not going to keep you up at night. Just sayonara. Bye. And if you don't sell your clothes because that's too much, because I understand that. It's a lot. Like, I don't have time for fucking Poshmark and Depop at this point in my life. I just don't. Then put it in a bag and bring it to your friend's house and let your friends go through it because it's kind of fun. Like, my thing, I like to look at things in my closet that like I'm getting rid of and think about what friends I have that would look really good in that specific article of clothing, or that like would match their style. You know, when it just like gives their certain like vibe. And yeah, and then I just like bring it to them and I'm like, wait, this kind of gave you more than it gave me. And then it's fun because then they wear it and they style it in their own way and you're like, yeah, I would have never like put that together. You're fucking killing it, you know? It's fun. It's fun. So, our out is overconsumption. Our in is what I just said about giving your friends your clothes and stuff, but also like repurposing. I feel like is going to be very in this year. And I've already kind of started getting into that a little bit in 2025. Just repurposing clothes and like adding fun patches to it, sewing little things, learning to embroider, like all that stuff. Cause then it's fun because it's like I just took this boring ass sweatshirt that I have in my closet that I like never wear because it's fucking boring. And now I have a brand new sweatshirt that I want to wear all the time because I made it, you know? So, I don't know. I think repurposing is kind of in right now. Like, let's just be crafty this year. Let's be crafty, okay? Ooh, okay. Another thing that I have for this year. I I feel like it's become like not a trend, but like an overall consensus to put all of our things away, right? Like, we were so used to just like hiding things away in closets that we don't use on a daily basis. But one thing that I really like to do is I like to surround myself with creative outlets. So, like, for example, right now in my room at my parents' house, I have an acoustic guitar that I strum for a minute a day, probably, and then put away in the corner, laying out right next to my dresser. I have my sewing machine on my desk. Um, my podcast mic is visible in my view on one of my dressers. I like to put all of my creative outlets out into the open because then it kind of incentivizes me more to pick them up and actually use them. If my sewing machine was in my closet all year long, I'd probably sew once a year, you know? So if it's right in front of your face, I feel like you get more of an urge to use it. And I know some people are more of like minimalists and they like to have a very like clean, high strung sort of like minimalistic space. But me personally, that's never been me. So if you don't resonate with that, like, it's fine. But like, me personally, I'm all my things are gonna be out. Okay, that's my in for this year. All my things are out. And going along with that, to kind of counteract that with the out for this year, it's an out for me to make lists on all the things that I can do. Like, I don't know why I do this, but I have this compulsive need to like make lists for everything in my life, but also like on possible things that I can do. So I'll like make a million lists of creative ideas that I can do. For me, that's fucking out this year. I'm gonna do what feels good to me anyways, so I might as well just like put my sewing machine out, put my mic out, put my guitar out, put all those things out in my view, And when I have the time to do them, I'll fucking pick them up because they're right there. They're accessible. If they're not accessible to you, you're not going to do it. You're going to open up TikTok instead, and we're done with that. Like I said, we're done with that. And then the last in and out that I wrote down was kind of what I talked about before about if you want to be a village, you got to be a villager. And like all of us are just so used to like listening to how we feel now. And just since we've gotten to this point where we are more comfortable than ever with saying no and listening to our bodies and whatever, we're saying no constantly. We are saying no to things that would have never been okay to say no to before, and that we would have like lost friends over before. Like, why is that normalized now? So I think this year my in is to say yes more. And my out is to say no out of convenience, because that's the thing. We're saying no because we don't want to leave our house. We don't feel like going and putting an outfit on to go somewhere. It's like, fuck that. Like your life is meant to be lived. Your life is meant to be fucking lived, and you're stopping yourself from living your life and then wondering why you're depressed. If you want a fucking village, you gotta be a villager. You get so depressed that like you're not close enough with your friends and you don't get to see your friends enough and stuff like that. But when you have the opportunity to see them, we're so burnt out from our work weeks and stuff that we're like, I just don't have the energy to go. But like, then change the plan. Tell them to come to you. Like, make it work. I don't know. I think there's always ways to work around it and to make it more fun. Like, if your friends are truly your friends, then you can express to them that you're feeling really low energy, but you want to hang out. So instead of going to the movies, how about you just have a stay-at-home movie night? And 9 times out of 10, like, they're going to feed off your frequency anyways, and they probably are feeling similar to you anyways. Just make it work. I don't know. Stop overcomplicating it. I don't know what my word is this year. I haven't thought about that yet. I like to make one word of the year that I want to kind of embody. Last year I don't even remember. Last year was prosper, I think, which I think was very fitting for this year. But this year, I don't know. This year, I'm feeling very pulled to do the hard thing. I'm feeling very much like I don't even have the option to play small anymore. I don't even have the option to do what feels comfortable to me. Like, my comfort zone is non-existent to me this year. You know what I mean? Like, I'm outside. I'm outside. Okay. So, what did we learn today? We learned that we're done playing small. We learned that we're going against the grain this year. We're not conforming to whatever society's telling us to do. We learned that we're robbing ourselves of our own happiness by constantly grieving the present moment. We learned that we can just work out and let that be enough, that we don't have to turn into a macho fucking bodybuilder in order to see progress, because the progress from working out starts with the endorphins that you feel in your brain when you move. So just fucking move, okay? Just fucking move. And if it turns into you wanting to be a bodybuilder, then sure. Sure, you can have your cake and eat it too, but like don't make that the fucking priority, especially if you're just trying to start. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the overarching theme today is like we're going to be so realistic that it's going to be unrealistic this year. We're making everything so realistic and so raw and so authentic that it feels almost unrealistic to fully capture it because of how authentic we're being? So like it makes it hard for people to replicate that, because no one can replicate the rawness and authentic parts of you that we're going to try our best to bring to life this year. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. That was really fun, and I'm really excited for this year with you guys. Like, I can't wait. I'm really trying to get back on my grind, and like my biggest priority this year is to make you guys the priority and to make this podcast the priority. So we have some fun stuff. We have some fun stuff coming up, and I can't wait to like share upcoming projects with you. And I'm excited for you guys to just see my creative visions unfold in real time. So if you are into that kind of stuff, then follow me on Instagram, because I'm starting to get a little more creative there, and it's really itching the right parts of my brain right now. So yeah, we're stepping into new things. And Yeah, I just love you guys and thank you for growing with me. If you've been here from the start, genuinely bless your heart. You are just everything and more to me. And if you're new here, then I hope you stick along and please reach out. Like, I love talking to you guys, whether that be directly talking to me through DMs, whether that be leaving a review or a rating on this podcast, like any way of communicating, I really appreciate. And it does really help this show grow. So don't be a stranger. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for everything that you've brought into my life and that you've transformed me into being and all the things. And thank you for just like experiencing and growing alongside me. It's really special and fun. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned for more and let's have ourselves a year, okay? Cheers.